In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel. It is May 28th, 2018. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Sean.
We're talking conference finals. Near the end, we're talking Stanley Cup Finals. So let's get into it. Which one do you want to do with first, Sean?
Let's talk, the Rockets and Golden State?
Yeah, so that's the Game 7 that's going on right now. Probably starting right now because, again, it's Monday night. So the Rockets, they probably could have won Game 6, but basketball games have 4 quarters, and they look like absolute crap in the second 2 quarters. Like, they looked really impressive in the start of Game 6, and then it just all just diminished and went away.
Yeah, they got outscored in the second half by more than double what they scored.
Yeah, they got outscored in the second half 64-25. Ended up losing by 29 in a game that they were up by 15 early in the first quarter. So it just goes to show how quickly Golden State can turn the tides. And it was an absolute nightmare for them. Especially in a situation where they could have won the series
then and there.
Yeah, without pushing it to a Game 7. Now that one of their star players, Chris Paul, is hurt, you kind of gotta win in the early opportunity. You don't give up too much momentum to the other team going into a Game 7, but now they're tasked with doing just that.
And, to be fair, from a non-basketball fan perspective, games 5, was it 4 and 5 of that series, where the score was like
actually close?
Yeah, like actually close. Those were cool games for me to sit down and watch for a bit.
Did you actually watch?
Yeah, I didn't watch the full game, but I just watched. I kept following it through when the game was going on. So
yeah, it wasn't bad to watch. It was just kind of like it was a slow burn. I only watched Game 6 this weekend, but Game 6 was a slow burn. Like, it's fun for a while, and then it just slowly chipped away and got out of hand.
I looked at the score of Game 6 at halftime. I was like, the Rockets have a 12-point lead. I'm pretty sure it was
something like that,
right? Yeah. And I was like, all right, so it's going to be like 24 points at the end of the game, right? That's just how basketball works. They usually just double their lead.
Yeah,
and then
not just
I was like,
all
right, I don't need to watch this. I ended up not really needing to watch this anyway because the Rockets literally just did not show up.
Yeah, they got slapped.
The second half.
They got smacked.
So, even though it was a complete turnaround, it was not really that interesting. It was literally just getting destroyed.
Right. The first 3 minutes of the third quarter were interesting, and then because Golden State got the lead, and then they just ran away with it. So after that, it was just over. Which is a shame because that series had given hope that that competitive series may actually exist. And it is to the idea that the series itself is competitive, but each individual game, it probably just won't be like that. We'll see how Game 7 works and looking back at it, but I don't know. I still don't buy it.
Yeah, but I'm happy that, there were 2 really close games in the series, because, again, as a not really that huge of a basketball fan, for was it game 3 that the Rockets won by 3 points? Or game 4?
Uh,
Game 4.
yeah, game 4.
Yeah, and so I watched that, and I watched the highlights of that game, and it was constantly back and forth, and that's like something that I'll actually want to watch, and it kept me in it. And then they did the same thing in Game 5, and that draws me in, but I don't really expect that to happen all the time. Like, I understand there might only be like 3 or 4 really close games, because there's just, you have a best of 7 series. There's going to be a time when one team's just better than the other. Whether it happens in game 1 or game 7, we don't have no control. But as long as the series, for the most part, is close, that's what I want to see. And I mean, the Rockets and the Golden State series has shown that they can have close games. I mean, it's also shown that you can blow a 12-point lead in 2 quarters and lose by over double of 12 points. So
Yeah, it's been nothing short of surprising, but at the same time, not really surprising. Just like how in the East, oh look, the Cavs made it to the finals.
not surprising
Yeah, I
at
mean,
all.
not surprising, mostly because like I don't know, is now the 8th straight year that the Cav or not the Cavs, a LeBron team has made the finals. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's the same old. It's the same old, and I feel bad because this was probably the closest we were going to get to different teams because Boston really was controlling the Game 7 matchup for the first 3 quarters, and then like it just disappeared. Their ability to make shots was gone in the fourth quarter, and then like it
I
was
mean,
they
wasn't
were only down by a manageable amount with like 3 minutes left, but their inability to make shots
but
really killed
both
them.
teams really, I don't think that either team through the first 3 quarters could really make the shots they needed. This game was super low scoring for a playoff game.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
like 87 to 79, right? The game,
yeah,
because my dad had it on, so I was with him. I was watching a little bit of it, and they were missing things that you wouldn't expect at all. Let alone like the shots that they need to make. Some of the repetitive shots that you'd say, oh, they have this no problem, not going in. Like
yeah,
that that was a disappointing game in that sense, as to where both teams were playing offensively bad, and then so it didn't really matter about defense.
yeah, and like this is probably the worst Cavaliers team or worst LeBron led team to make a finals, and it may be one of the worst teams to make the finals ever, just because like I don't know, they lucked out in their schedule. I guess their opponents, because like Toronto and Washington are 2 teams cursed to like never make the finals anyway, and they got through those two. Uh, got a banged up Boston team, uh, and
Which, by the way, it's
got lucky.
surprising to me that Boston even made it this far with what's happened to them throughout the entire regular season. And
Yeah, well, also they're extremely young team.
yeah, I mean, hats off to them for making it this far. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate that they had to like completely shut down the last quarter of yesterday's game.
yeah, it just blew themselves up. There's no way around it. But I don't know. It was nice to have a game 7 that wasn't a complete blowout. I'll say that. But I would be lying to you if I wasn't actively rooting against LeBron at this point.
I mean, to be
He's
fair, um, if we see Steph Curry in the finals and LeBron James in the finals, I don't know who I'm rooting for because I'm tired of that matchup.
yeah, me too. And like LeBron may be one of the greatest players of all time, but he was forced into such a spotlight when he first came into the league and he was so young. But it's now like 15 years later, and he's still in the spotlight, and the dude is just he's got an ego that has not gone away. Watching the post game interviews last night, every answer he gave about how well the team did, every answer started with I. I believed in this, dude. I believed it was when the trade deadline happened. I knew that I didn't know what I was going to do after this year, but I was going to be the most determined to finish out a year that I'd ever been. It's like, this is a team game. You can't use I for everything, but yet he does. And I'm really getting tired of, like, this is, like, I'm sure he's a role model, but, like, he is actively putting himself above everybody else, even the people on his own team, and I'm getting really sick and tired of it, to be honest with you.
But I mean, doesn't he do that already, like all the time?
Yeah,
he already
that's
did
the
that.
problem. Yeah,
It's nothing new.
yeah. I'm just saying it's wearing on me. Like,
Oh.
over the years, like, okay, cool, you got your ring for Cleveland. Got it. Now let someone else into the picture. And then it's the same two teams the next year. And then it's possibly the same two teams the next year. It's like, dude, just, like, step aside. You don't have to make the finals every year to be considered the greatest of all time or anything like that. Like, just, you don't have to be the GM. It's like, just, have fun with the game sometimes.
Yeah, but no offense, at this level of play, the game isn't, well, as much as he has to like playing basketball to some degree. It's not all about fun at his level of play anymore.
It all comes back to the NBA not being a balanced organization or league, and that kind of, being part of what I'm saying. But, like, it's just the ego on LeBron. You know that, like, if they don't win the finals, he's probably going to go to a team where they'll make the finals next year too. Because there's no way he's going to go to a team like Phoenix or anything and, turn them around in a year. He's not interested in that. So.
Yeah, I mean, he, for all we care, he could still stay on the Cavs.
It probably won't happen after.
I know,
I mean,
but
look at the roster that they have now.
what I'm saying is, for all, like, it really doesn't matter where he goes, though, because, like, any team he gets on, as long as they make the playoffs, they have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we learned this year.
If you have LeBron James on your team, you have a pretty damn good chance of making the playoffs, no matter what team you are.
Yep, that's what we're learning this year.
So, I really don't think it matters what team he goes to.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's, like, a small number that can't win even with him that are, like, so
Well, yeah,
screwed up.
I'm not talking about him going to the Nets or something. Like, let's be honest.
I was going to say the Knicks.
Yeah, okay, any New York team, no.
Yeah, no, you're probably right there.
But, like, he goes to any of the average teams, which
yeah, and they'll make the playoffs.
are a majority of the NBA. They'll make the playoffs, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I want to see something new.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm tired of Golden State and Cleveland for the, third or fourth year in a row, whatever it is.
It'll be the fourth year in a row.
Well, we'll find. Well, you
Find
listeners
out, yeah.
will already know, but we'll find out tonight.
Yep, we'll find out tonight or tomorrow morning or whatever it need be.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as series have gone, like the Cavs Celtics series was just like the more disappointing series out of the two. Simply because
yeah, I mean, yeah, for a 7-game series.
Yeah, simply because of how it played out, right? Like the first 4 games, there was like deciders of 30 points or whatever.
Well, yeah. Plus, you had Boston was up 2 games in the series, and then a 2-game series lead went away, and then it was up and down and up and down.
Yeah, but I mean, aside from like the series swing, it's just the game swing in general. It was the first 4 games, they were not close at all. I don't even know if the 5th game was close. I didn't care about that series after 4 games.
I think it was somewhat close, not too close though.
And like that's just, and then to cap it off, like game 7 was just both teams playing so bad. Like,
Yeah,
and then
offensively and defensively.
yeah, they couldn't make like freaking standard shots for their level of play.
Which was weird because, like, given that there were ample opportunities for each team.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not even talk about defensively because I mean, even if you left them open court, they probably wouldn't have made those shots anyway.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was
It,
just
it was
how
just,
bad both teams were.
and analytically, it was a terrible game.
Yeah.
And then at least like the Rockets and Golden State series, you have like 2 games that are extremely close, and a 3-point win and a 4-point win.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while for them to get there, but
They got
yeah,
there.
we
That's all
didn't.
that
Yeah,
matters.
yeah. We'll see if they'll still there. I don't know. There's reason to believe that it will or won't happen again tonight for their game 7, but I don't know. At this point, it's just we'll find out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we've exhausted the NBA about as much as we can for 2 people who don't actively follow it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that the Warriors will lose and we'll get, I don't know, just a slight bit of something different, but again,
We'll
we'll
I
see.
mean, the Rockets have to bring all 4 quarters.
No, apparently, like, the Cavaliers are so bad that regardless of who they play, there's only apparently a 10% chance that they're going to win the finals.
Okay.
I mean, I hate to say that's believable, but if
I
you
mean,
watch how they play, it's
at least
pretty
they have a
believable.
10% chance of winning the final.
Yeah, I mean, 90%.
Well,
For a
I
team to
mean,
make the finals and have a 90% chance of losing it, that's like in the 2000s when it was the Lakers going on their three-peat. Like, that was a completely different machine, but we're not talking about three-peat. We're talking at best a back-to-back for the Warriors, and at worst,
a
first.
reversal.
Yeah, exactly. Just a first ring in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like I feel like Cleveland has like, if you were looking probably at game probabilities, they probably have the percentage on their home games by quite a bit. But it's the away games that probably kill their chances. Because I mean, I don't think in any of the series they were like, they're dominant at home, but they didn't look like extremely dominant on the road.
I think what's going to screw Cleveland is their inability to put a larger number of points on the board this offseason. Because, like, we look at the series against the Celtics and an 87-point win in a game 7, that's fine for against the Celtics in a game 7. But the Western Conference, the 2 teams there are averaging, well over 100 points per game. With the exception, you rarely get a game where the opposing team keeps them under 100. And we're talking, that's a 13-point difference just from 100 to what Cleveland did in game 7. And Cleveland, with their roster that they have, I just don't know that they can score to the extent that any Western Conference team can.
Fair enough,
I
but I
mean,
mean they did put
LeBron's
up
been putting
100
up.
and they put up 100 points a couple of times, did they not?
They did, but there's a difference between a couple times and on a regular basis.
Yeah, but I mean, even in this series for the Rockets and Warriors, they held each other to under 100 points in one of their games. It was like 95-92, right? Game 4?
Yeah, but again, it's kind
it's
of
close to 100, but still,
it's close. But again, it's one of those like it's an exception to the rule kind of things.
Yeah, but it shows it's possible because both of them did it for 2 games in a row, right? It was like 95-92 and then 98-94.
Yeah, it's possible, but you gotta win 4 games to win the series. So we'll see how probable it is.
Yeah, but I feel like at home Cleveland can score 110 points. I don't know about on the road.
I don't think that they can score 110 points either at home or on the road. Like I think they'll maybe do it once, but I don't think they can do it enough to win a championship.
I don't know. Well, they don't have home field, right? No matter who wins, right? At least I don't
I'm
think
sorry?
they do.
They don't have
home
court.
They don't have home field.
Because they're technically a 4 seed.
Yeah. So I don't think that they're going to win. I'm just saying it hurts them because I think they do play better at home. So not being home the most does hurt them a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how much home court means tonight with the Houston game, but otherwise, there's just no ways that I don't think they can beat Golden State because Golden State's finding their stride right now. I think they got more of a chance with Houston, but I think Houston has too much depth.
Fair enough.
All right, so that's all I got on basketball. What about you?
No, I have nothing more to add.
All right, well, switch over to hockey.
So, let's preface hockey by talking Caps Lightning Game 7, since we didn't get to talk about that last week.
Yeah,
I have
utter disappointment for
really
Lightning fans in their own building, but yeah, just as a neutral fan, or yeah, I'll say neutral instead of unbiased, but
yeah, no, I don't think you're unbiased.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm unbiased in that game either.
Yeah, probably not, but yeah, the Capitals came out, they scored early, and
they kept scoring.
Yeah, they kept scoring. I wouldn't say early and often, but often enough to win.
Yeah, it was 4-0. Like, that's such an underwhelming Game 7.
And was it Holtby got his first playoff shutout of the first shutout of the season, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is crazy to think a goaltender that good had no shutouts all year until like that Game 7. But kudos to him for standing on his head in the biggest game a Capitals fan would have in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously Vegas had won earlier than that. They had taken their series in 5. I don't know, man. I really thought Tampa Bay was a stronger team, but Washington was.
When they got over their hump this year, though, it looked like.
Yeah, and when they got over their hump in the second round, is like they just became this wrecking ball that like you just can't get in their path.
Yeah,
so we'll see if the Knights can, but like.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, they hadn't faced a goalie that is as on as Fleury is.
Yeah, but they do have a goalie that has been as on as Fleury and Holtby.
I wouldn't say he's been as on as Fleury, but he's been pretty close. Because Fleury has maintained his performance through basically all of the playoffs. Give him like 2 games, I think, that he played pretty badly in.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because there was a point, is it the second round?
Against the Sharks?
Yeah, where it looked like he was starting to lose his edge, and then he just completely bounced back off
Came right back. And then, yeah, because I don't think he lost his edge really against Winnipeg. They just played really well.
Uh-huh.
It's just the Sharks series that he looked like he would falter a little
Yeah,
bit. But he came back from those, like, again, he only had like 1 or 2 games in which he looked like that, and then he came right back. So it's really more of a question of, are the Capitals the one that can break Fleury down, or can Fleury keep standing on his head?
I mean, right now it's start of the second period of game one between these two teams, tied at 2-2. So already both teams giving up more goals than they did in their last game. Um, but for a goaltending matchup like this to be 2-2 after the first period, is it an offensive firepower series or is it a defensive or
I don't know,
something in
like,
between?
but like, so right, as of now, right, like the goals that Vegas scored, well, one of them was a power play goal, so does that count as offensive firepower, or is that just like maybe the set play went through it?
I don't know because it does come down to being able to convert. You have to think that has something to do with offensive firepower.
Yeah, and then like I know one of Washington's goals was a tip in that was a really good redirection, right? So
Yeah,
I feel like if, because also the stat is that like the Golden Knights had a majority of the possession in the first period too. So if that keeps happening though, it doesn't really like matter because the Golden Knights will just keep whittling away, I feel like.
yeah, but Washington I feel has been a team that's converted on a lot of odd man rushes so far in the playoffs. So
Yeah, okay,
I
I can see
mean,
it. But
it kind of works both ways because it only sometimes it's one of those you only need one to break through, and then all of a sudden you score a few on not a lot of shots. Instead of putting up 30, you put up like 20 shots but score 4 goals, and sometimes that's enough.
yeah, true. But it's more of which goalie will break down first, right?
Yeah, you have to think that that's a significant factor, if not the factor.
Yeah, and then like, hasn't Holtby already been pulled for Grubauer at one point? Or,
Grubauer started the playoffs.
right. So Fleury is the only goalie to go through with through every game, right, on his team.
I believe so, yeah.
Well, I think, well, Vasi might have. I'm not sure for the Lightning until they got knocked, but I'm not sure.
I mean, are we just talking about like started every game in the playoffs so far?
Well, yeah,
I
yeah. I mean,
mean,
obviously, because I know Grubauer started. We just confirmed Grubauer started the game, and I'm pretty sure like almost every other team had a different goalie. I mean, your exceptions are probably like Boston and Tampa.
yeah, this list is probably longer than you think it is.
Eh, fair enough.
Because I don't think that the Penguins ever pulled Murray either.
Oh yeah, but because I know, well, at least I know that Saros played in the majority of the game. I don't know if he started a game.
I think he did. Um, wasn't it the game
Yeah.
7,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
6 or 7, something like that?
something like that. Because I know the Devils flip flop their goalies, and then yeah, it's probably a lot shorter than I think. But I mean,
Longer.
or yeah, longer than I think. Still, that's quite a few teams to do those flip flops. In the playoffs,
Yeah, I
usually don't
mean,
see that.
and sometimes it comes down to riding the hot hand, and sometimes it comes down to riding a different hand.
Yeah, whatever gets your team motivated, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Um,
But still, like those two, it's gonna come down to which team can break through the goalie's mindset first.
oh yeah, without a doubt. I don't know. It's hard to predict which team or which goaltender who's playing near the top of their game is going to fold first. It's because there's like no evidence to support that it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean I completely agree.
Oh
But I
man,
mean it has to happen to one of them. And even if it's not like they
a full scale.
yeah, it's just which team can find a little chip that gives them the push to victory. Because you can't say like Quick didn't perform in his 4 games that he played in the playoffs, right? Again, right?
Yeah, no, you're
So
right.
it's more of which team can barely exploit the other's goalie that like 1% better.
No, you're right. It'll be interesting to find out, but I don't know. This one's a toss up.
Eh. I mean, I'm still going with Vegas winning. So
Well, Vegas just scored to make it 3-2, so
yeah.
you're on the right path.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say they win in 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. That's really weird, but I mean 6 or 7. I'll say that somehow they're gonna win on their home ice.
Okay.
Not, I mean that's how I feel. I feel like there's just too good of a story for this series not to end with Vegas hoisting a trophy on their own ice.
I mean, let's have it end with it. Having it end with Vegas hoisting a trophy in the first place. That is a story enough.
Hey, I mean, all for a good story, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I mean, another thing I want to bring up. We've talked NBA and NHL playoffs, right? But the Stanley Cup and the NHL Finals or the NBA Finals won't won't have games on the same days this year. They've confirmed, so that's a good thing for an all-around sports person.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea of that, but I guess that works out to benefit.
Yeah, I mean, it'll suck if two games going on at the same time. 'Cause-
You mean kind of like right now with the Western Conference Finals?
yeah, but I mean, they started their game at 9 at
Well, no one said that they were smart on the West Coast.
night.
Speaking of which, end of the first quarter, Rockets are up 24-19.
Yeah, it's only the first though. We'll see who gain because I mean, aside from I think it was like the first couple of minutes, they've been pretty even.
Did you know that Joe Johnson plays for the Rockets?
Wait, what?
I had no idea he's on the Rockets.
Hmm, I
This is
did not.
I mean, that's depth. Like, not a lot of it, but it's depth. It's old depth. That's wow. Talk
Damn.
about Back to the Future kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. Good for both sports and the fact that they won't conflict their finals at least. I mean, you can't win
Yeah,
everything. You can't
a
have it.
little respect to the NHL for once.
Yeah. Or they're just worried that Vegas is going to take all their views.
I think that the difference between the audiences for basketball and hockey,
Or yes,
unfortunately,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's late.
That was not being serious.
Well, that's good because I didn't pick up on it anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, so I think you're gonna have a fun series. Like again, because you're seeing 2 goalies at the top of their game and 2 really like offenses that can shoot the puck very well, great at moving it around.
Yeah.
So I think this is gonna be a great series regardless.
I can only hope so. At this point, that's all I'd root for.
And then we
Other than
might
Flurry, but
we know about you and Flurry. What about
uh,
Reeves?
I mean, I really am indifferent on the guy. Like, he didn't really contribute much.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's the reason why they're actively shopping Phil Kessel is because Ryan Reeves probably punched Phil Kessel won too many times and nobody came to Phil's defense and he threw a tantrum and yeah. And now probably no more Phil Kessel in Pittsburgh. But that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, but I mean, and then we might have a Cavs Golden State NBA Finals for the 4th time in a row, I think.
Yep.
That sounds absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So let's just hope that the hockey series is good because like I said, I don't see the Cavs being able to climb the mountain that is Golden State this year. So,
I mean, I don't see them beating the Rockets either if the Rockets were the team to go to the finals.
yeah, I'm just saying like either way, it's a bad draw for the Cavs. I don't know. I don't think that they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, short podcast today, so.
Yeah. I mean, not much to talk about. Get rid of all those teams and
Yeah, so next
2-hour podcasts like our first episode go from 2 hours to like 40 minutes.
Yeah, so next week we're gonna start talking
Baseball.
MLB. Yeah, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. We'll figure out how we're gonna format that. Probably reflect on I mean, neither NBA or NHL series will probably be over by then, but reflect on how those are going, and eventually we'll reflect on and recap how they finish up. But outside of that, there's really not too much going on. Like we're stuck in a lull in that, like the finals are just about to start. Obviously they did start tonight for hockey, but for the NBA, it's like that lull is about to be there where, like, it hasn't happened yet, so there's not a ton to talk about, especially when you have the same players in it every year, as the narrative kind of becomes less and less. So this is the end result.
Yep.
Yeah, really, there's really not much else to say.
Yeah, so I mean, just look forward to next time when we start covering the MLB and the finals are actually in full swing for NBA and NHL.
Yep. So with that being said, like, share, subscribe with all the people that you know, and we'll catch you guys next week. See you.